All right, all right. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me. Jeff Bowery's charging the new 3-speed vessel. What's up, Sizzleneck, Someway, Jeff, Clint, Matt, TPG? I can't remember if there's anybody else up there. I think that was the bulk of everybody in the... I saw somebody up at the very top that was not you all. I know that, Appalachian guitarist. That's what I was looking for. What's up, Woodchuck? Jester Metalworks, Travis Williams. That's a long name. Travis Williams 1 ESC 460. Happy New Year. I'm sure it's the Travis Williams. I don't know how to, well, I guess it could be Travis Williamson. And then ESC.460, maybe. What's up, DJ Toro, DIY Crasher, Terry Burton. Hi, Katrina as well. Esquire. So, let's see. What was it? Oh, I saw y'all talking about, mostly y'all been talking about Veto bags for the most part. I kind of glanced through the pregame. Looks like y'all are talking about the mini buckets, or I don't guess really mini buckets. That's what people are calling them. But the Veto bucket style bags. I'm not buying anything till spring promotion, like even if they're out now. If one of them so happens to be free, possibility of me getting one. I don't know that I'd really use one in my work. I might would use one, sitting around here, and then whenever you get into thinking about that, it's like, man, that's pretty expensive to buy something that I can buy a little Dickies cup thing and do something kind of similar type thing. DJ Toro, Veto Bucket's cool. Did a quick review on your channel. I hadn't been on YouTube a lot in the like today or yesterday. So I got some catching up to do. But he says, DJ Toro said the bucket's cool. Can't wait to see the fancy Joey sign. Yeah, it looked good. At some point, like there's a window behind here that's part of the old red building, and then I put this over top of it. I don't. You probably can't. Yeah, you can tell. This sticks out, further. I just kind of did it so it would blend in, but I want to take that window out and fill that in, and then fix all that. So I'll probably do that eventually. That's actually, I think I might try starting on it tomorrow. I hadn't decided. So over in the new section, I got all the lights hung. I can't remember if I had that done before the last, I worked on it some last week and over the weekend. So I don't remember if I was done with that last live or not, but I finished up all the blocking, like in my corners. I really wanted to do some more sheathing this week on the inside, but it had rained like nasty. All my sheathings in my trailer back on the back of my property. I didn't want to drive back there and get my trailer. Also, my grass is kind of in up here by the garage, but it's still not, so it's kind of muddy. And I didn't want to drive it up in there and just make a muddy mess. And I didn't want to walk back and forth with sheets of LP either. So I started going ahead and putting up the insulation, putting up blocking. I framed in the doorway. I didn't have it framed yet. That would be not this right here, but the doorway where the stairs are going to be. I framed that in so that I can go ahead and put my, because what I want to do is get my sheathing over that doorway, because right now for my light switch, I've just got Wagos out there, and whenever I go out there, I just stick my light wire up into the power, and I want to put my switch box and all that kind of stuff in. So that's mainly what I was working on that for, so I can get up that one piece of sheathing, put my switch box and stuff in there, so I can just flip a switch when I go out there. But I might start working on, I think I'm gonna put this door in over here first, so that as I take down the stuff over here, I can kind of set it over in there to get it out of my way. Because right now, if I did that one first, I don't have anywhere to put it. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Appalachian Guitarist bought the big one, sold it for full price immediately. It's so large. See, that's another. It's one of those where I think Matt said it a minute ago. He'd like to see all three of them kind of lined up beside each other to get an idea. I haven't really seen one person. I watched one video that one person had, and I can't remember who it is now. That was the only video. That's the only video I've seen on it. So some of y'all, like, I have to go check out. There must be more of them out there now. Jester Metalworks on a break. Let's see. Jeff caught the flat Bowery. Fake Properties would love to see a video with all three videos side by side. Yeah. I like the look of the 3B, but not sure how big it is. Mellow Tough has some buckets. Yeah, I saw some of y'all sent me a picture of that, or it was in a group or something. Teray, I don't know how to say that one. Teray Asias. Hey Joey, I'm running my handyman. Let me pin this so people can see what I'm reading. Hey Joey, I'm running my handyman business out of a 16x7 trailer, looking to equip a van or truck like yours for an employee. How do you like your pickup set over a Sprinter style van? So I've never run a Sprinter style van like in my business aspect of it. Now I've drove one. I used to drive for the place that I work for. Sometimes I'd go on like donation pickups and stuff like that, and we had those for that. But I've never had one set up like a van. In my line of work, for my remodeling business, I think I would almost still prefer my truck and then have the trailer for the times I need to go take big stuff to a job and drop it off, and then just have my truck, just because I feel like it gives you like a whole entire, like if you keep all your tools and stuff in the van, you can get some supplies in there, but I'm not going to be able to go get like, big supplies like 12-foot drywall or, stuff like that. So no matter what, I'm going to still have to pull a trailer. And then that way you still have the back of your truck. Seems like to me I'd be able to load more stuff, 2x4s and all that kind of stuff. So it depends on what you're doing for your business. Let's see, did you say handyman business? Depends on what all kind of work you're doing in your handyman business. Like, is it more so remodeling handyman type stuff, or is it more so just go fix little things here or there? If it was just like a service work type handyman business, I'd probably rather have a van, I think. But I that's me saying it, never have ran one. I think my next vehicle, I'll probably get like a smaller van, but at that point in time, I'm planning on hopefully being able to be kind of downsized on the kind of work that I'm doing and not be doing the big stuff anymore. I seen a community post that Veto is getting into modular tool storage. I saw something that was sent today in a group thing today too. I haven't seen any pictures or anything, but I saw mention of it. Way to go with Dickies. My great uncle started that company, sadly bought out and moved into a state outside of Texas. I despise giant vans if you're in a bigger city. Yeah, I don't know that I think my next vehicle would be, I don't think I'd buy like, even though it would be what I would prefer, like especially like right now, I'd have to get one with a tall ceiling so that I could probably put like a floor in it to be able to put stuff up in underneath of that floor to kind of give yourself that whole bed storage aspect of a van. But I'm hoping that like by the time hopefully my truck kicks the bucket on me or does whatever, maybe I can kind of go down to one of them smaller, more compact type vans and just limit myself on what all I'm putting in there. Get a little bit, Because right now I carry a lot of stuff, but it's because I do a lot of different things. But I could probably, the way my workflow is, I don't do a lot of like emergency stuff. So typically, if I've got enough know ahead, it would just cause me to have to load more and unload more out of my van or truck every day if I didn't keep it in there. So mostly I try to just keep. I don't keep any materials except for typically the job stuff, other than like a few extra receptacles, a couple GFCIs. A few little things like that I keep in there, but for the most part, it's just tools in my truck because that's the stuff I don't want to like. If I'm at a job site and I'm 40 minutes away from my house, I'm not going to drive home to come get a particular tool. That's a big pain, but I don't care to drive to the store and buy materials. So I'd rather not have a material on my truck than not have the tool that I need. So I try to carry just tools more so than anything. What's up, Lexi? What's up, Roy Phipps? Vans are crazy noisy. I hope you can get a SUV like a small van at most. I wouldn't like my truck as much if I didn't have my deck drawers and that camper topper. The way that setup works for me is perfect because it makes all those, and my camper topper doesn't have like the side things in it, which I actually wanted. Whenever I was looking for a camper topper, I was trying to find one that had, like, if you open the doors from the outside, it has the shelves built in and all that stuff. That's what I was actually looking for whenever I was going to buy one. I just couldn't find one anywhere near me. And then to buy a new one was outrageous. I didn't want to buy a new one, so I kept looking for used ones. Found that one, kind of passed on it at first, and then I looked around some more, couldn't find anything else. And I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go back and get that one. I'll build myself some shelves on the inside if that's what I want to do. But because of the deck drawers, it puts all the stuff that I put on top of my deck drawers like at the perfect height of opening those things up. I can reach everything that's in my whole entire bed just by opening up those little side doors. I can reach over to the middle anywhere I want to. It puts it up at a good height, and then I've got all that storage in my deck drawers down below it too. So if I didn't have those two things, my truck wouldn't be quite as usable to me as what it is. And I absolutely love having the camper topper on. So that's another thing between truck and van. Like at the end of the day, I just throw my stuff in there and I drive on the interstate, all that stuff. I don't have to worry about, oh, I got to make sure I've got this strapped down. I've got to make sure this stuff's not going to blow out into the road and hit somebody. I just throw stuff in the back of my truck. If it's raining or doing whatever, and I fix it whenever I get home. I don't know that I'd want to work out of a just open truck bed either. I don't think I'd want to do that. So if I had a truck, I'd have to have it set up like mine, or I'd have to have a van. I've seen city vans that work out like Chris the handyman. Like his kind of van thing is the kind of thing I'm talking about. I think that would be my next vehicle, maybe a little bigger than that one, but I'm hoping by the time I get to the point of needing a vehicle, but it just depends on when my truck fails me. But I'm hoping by the time I get to that, I'm no longer really doing big jobs where I need a big bed or anything like that. Maybe carrying a couple boxes of ceiling fans and, that kind of stuff. What's up, Michael? The more supplies you keep in your van, the more you forget what you have, BMCK said. Yeah, I have very few. Like I've got a few just stuff that that you're gonna need on a electrical thing more so than anything. And I got a few plumbing things just in case. Like I got some sharp bite caps and stuff. So just in case I go somewhere and I need to cap something and then go to the store and buy something, I can cut that pipe, cap it, turn their water back on, and then, go to the store to get whatever it is I need, and then take that back off whenever I get back. So I carry some of that stuff, but I don't carry a lot of supplies. The only kind of supplies that I actually kind of carry are like caulking. Like I keep some Big Stretch, Lexel, all that kind of stuff in my truck. Again, a couple of receptacles, couple switches, couple GFCIs. Trying to think. That's probably really about it. Other than like I'm not including wire nuts and crimp connectors, all that kind of stuff's in my Packout boxes. But in my 2-drawer Packout, I've got quite a few like little supplies that are just the stuff that you're going to use really often. We run both fleet vans and trucks. Lexi said, I've got a, let me pin that so people can read. Let me see, pin. I have a 1-ton GMC. Don't mind it, but again, I'm just so used to it at this point. But you need to make sure things are strapped down and seated right. Yeah, that's with me too. It's like I think I want a van, but I've never had one, and I've always drove a truck. Like I've never drove anything other than whenever like my first few vehicles were cars. But once I, you know, grown up and buying my own stuff, I've been driving a truck my whole life. So I'm really used to driving a truck. That's the only thing is about buying a smaller van is it's going to make me sit lower to the ground. I don't know that I'm going to like that. I'd be okay with the tonneau cover too, but I'd even suggest people look at a Suburban. Yeah, so that's what I had before I bought the camper topper, and that worked out okay too. Even with my deck drawers, it was okay because I could still at least fit a ladder. But that's another thing about my camper topper is I'm able to put, a one of those foldable little giant ladders that goes up to like 22 feet or, whatever that is. I'm able to always have one of them with me. That would have never been an option without that camper topper. And then I also keep I think it's a 5-foot king combo or something like that up on the top too. And I keep my little giant one, the one I use the most, it's just in the back of my truck because I don't want to have to unstrap that. I use it all the time. But that's another thing that's nice about having the camper topper because before I had that, pretty much most of my truck bed under my tonneau cover was taken up with ladders. So I didn't even have room sometimes to put stuff. But the biggest thing for me about having a truck bed and only having the tonneau cover with the deck drawers is that I only had about this much space. So then, which is fine. Most jobs, I go to them and then I come home. But like if I go somewhere to work on something and it's something that takes like my miter saw or something like that, and then I got to go to Home Depot and buy something, it's like I don't want to just leave my miter saw just sitting out in the back of my truck in Home Depot's parking lot. Like it's not something I want to do. I honestly don't think somebody would probably take it in my town, but it pretty good chance it would be. So then I kept getting into that, and that's another reason why I like the camper topper is everything's just enclosed. I got more room to put stuff. So my truck right now is kind of like a vanish type thing, except for I've got to get in 2 or 3 doors to get to stuff instead of you just opening up one door and getting in there and there's everything. That's what I think would be nice about the van. I was big on people making their rigs the way they like them, so they are responsible for keeping it clean. The real Chase Falcon, anyone know if he added anything for sliders on that rear cab drawer? Heading to Home Depot shortly, tired of unloading packouts for power tools. So what I put on there, I don't know if I probably don't have any of that exact piece, but I'll show you what I used. And it seems to be working pretty good. It's pretty cheap and it works. Before, whenever I built drawers, I've always used like that stuff that's on the bottom of drywall carts. I forget what the name of that white stuff is, but you can go to Lowe's. I'm sure Home Depot has it too. And just buy you this peel and stick, like vinyl flooring. I put some of this on the bottom of my drawer, and then I put some of this inside the cabinet part too, and it seems like it's making it slide pretty good. Like I'm not having any problems with it. I stuck it, and then I also shot a few narrow crown staples up in it as well. But this stuff's like super cheap. It's like $1 a piece or something like that. Because that white plastic stuff, I don't think I got any of it laying around here. I built myself some drawers that did like what my deck drawers do now. And I went and bought like a sheet of that stuff. And it was crazy expensive and made myself strips because they got to where they were super heavy. and weren't sliding real well. Of course, they were really big drawers, like the whole length of my bed and all that kind of stuff. But I used to have some scrap of that laying around here, but I don't remember what I did with it. But you probably seen it on drywall carts and stuff like that. Like if the drywall delivery company brings drywall, the carts they use, I've got one, but it's down in the other garage. That white stuff that they got mounted on the bottom of it, or like they also have it on their crane part that they lift up and put the drywall through the windows. What's up, Robert? Woodchuck said, in my area, Northeast, most contractors I run a GMC Savannah van, and it holds a really good amount. The next popular truck is a Sprinter. What's up, Tom? Fake properties. My biggest dilemma is, should I put a topper on to haul more tools more securely and grab a trailer to haul supplies when I need to pick up a bunch, or keep my open bed and haul a tool trailer? So my whole truck has every tool in it I'm going to need. So I don't, other than like, I've got specific like miter saws and stuff like that. Like I load those under my cab, under my camper topper for the job, whatever the job is, if I need them. I don't carry them all the time because I mean, I'm going to know if I'm going to need a miter saw or not. But I bought a enclosed trailer just to do exactly what you're talking about, because one is I usually keep a lot of tools in the back of my truck. So if I'm going to a job to, do a bunch of framing and all that, and I load up a table saw and I load up a miter saw and all that kind of stuff, by the time I do all that, my truck is full. I don't have room to put anything in the back of it anyways. So I bought an enclosed trailer, I guess it was last year, which is another reason why I built this on. I'm going to start parking it in here. But just for that, I go and pick up like 12-foot sheets of drywall, doors. Whenever I got a bunch of doors to go pick up, I go pick up all the doors. And it's just a whole lot easier to do it in one trip. Like if you've got like 10 doors you need to pick up, like if you try to do that in a truck, it's going to take you forever. So that's all I use it for. Or if I got a really big job and I need to take a bunch of tools and it's like inside where I'm going to leave some for over an extended period of time or whatever, I could load them up in that trailer, take them that first day. So I just drive that trailer that one day, whether it's supplies or whether it's taking materials, I drop them off, bring my trailer back home. And then that way I'm just still driving my truck back and forth. I wouldn't want to, in my town, I wouldn't want to drive a trailer around every day with all my tools in it all the time. I'd rather have my tools in my vehicle, and then that way if I don't have to drive the trailer, I don't have to. But again, it really all depends on what all you do. If you're always doing really big jobs, I'm not always doing really big jobs, so you're welcome, Chase Falcon. I was thinking two-way sliders, but they're a heck of expensive for that weight. Well, and the thing with me was I wanted to be able to take my drawers out both sides. So the green drawers that I had in like truck loadout, 2, 3, and whatever, those I just use regular drawer slides. But I wasn't going to be able to, anything I used that was like something I could go purchase and put on a drawer. I don't think they really make anything where I could slide it out my driver's side, but then also slide it out the full length, the passenger side. And another thing I like about it is, which I haven't had it happen yet, but let's say I need to go drop my truck off somewhere and get something done to it that's going to take like 2 or 3 days of worth of work, or I've got to leave it. I can just slide that whole drawer out and bring it in here and set it in my garage, snap out all my Packout and climb boxes, and then my truck is empty in like 5 minutes of all my tools. Like if I need to drive it somewhere and leave it, because I don't even like, I purposely go to places and get oil changes where I get to sit in the vehicle, because it's like I'm not dropping my truck off and even waiting for it and letting somebody be back in a garage somewhere with all my tools sitting in there. So I that's why I ended up having to figure out something else, because I wanted my drawers to be able to come out both sides. Clint likes the TV quote. UMHW cutting board. It's something very similar to that. It's a name like that, but it's called something else, but it's very similar. It's basically that same kind of stuff. Same idea as that cutting board, except sometimes those cutting boards got a little bit more texture to them than whatever this one stuff is. Shower stall panels, FRP, all very slick stuff. Lock camera went to pickup. Vans were so loud, and I had a machine go airborne at a panic stop and narrowly missed me. Had a friend that wasn't as lucky. If you get a van, make sure you put an in-cab partition. Tool trailers too easily to get stolen. Ask me how I know, Jeff Bowery said. So the company that I worked for a period of time, we were building a building and had a tool trailer like that parked at the job site, and somebody didn't steal the trailer, but they did break into the trailer. So that's another thing. Even if I had a tool trailer, it would have to stay, like, I wouldn't leave it somewhere, like on a job site or anything like that, because it's just asking to get broke into. I don't even leave my enclosed trailer anywhere. Basically, anytime I'm using my trailer, it's going to ride on the back of my truck till I'm done with it. So if it's 2 days of picking up supplies or 1 day, whatever it is, I'm just going to drive it that day, and then I'm not leaving it on my truck, for a very long period of time. BMCK suggests any truck cap to get the side windows that open. Yeah, I wouldn't want one that didn't have those side windows on it. I started to buy one that wasn't like, mine's like that commercial style. They've got the one that's kind of like more like what you see people put on their trucks if it's not necessarily a work truck, but more like camping and stuff like that. They've got some like that that even had like some sides that opened, and I was looking at one of those too, but I'm really glad I got the one I got. Like I said, it wasn't what I wanted whenever I was looking around, but after I got it and then I started using, I'm like, man, this works perfect for what I want to do with it. Tom's got a 08 Chevy Express van, 346,000 miles on it. What's up, Jonathan Green? Some ways all for SUVs. What's up, Mike Berkson? I think I'd park my trailer in my shop. Yeah. I don't have to worry about it here where I live. Like, stuff never happens, here. But I'm parking mine inside just because I don't want it sitting outside all the time, like my tires and all that kind of stuff just sitting, because I don't even have mine parked like on. I put some pavers back there where the tires are, just to keep it from sitting on the like ground. But it just sits back there, all the weather, anything else that happens, and it's real close to where I burn stuff. It's far enough away, unless my burn pile, like if I get a bunch of limbs and I make it really big back there, then I'm like, I better move my trailer. So then I got to go hook up my trailer and move it just to burn my stuff. So I'll be glad to get it in here. And then while it's in here, I'm planning on putting like some stuff in it that's real easy, like my bigger table saw and stuff like that. I'll just put it in there as storage. And then if I'm going to take it somewhere, if I need the room and I need to take the table saw out, it won't take 2 seconds to roll it out. Lexi had KFC for supper. Must have been hungry because it was really good. I haven't had KFC in a long time. The things they used to have whenever I was little, and they kind of came back out with them, but they weren't the same. Where they were called Chicken Littles or something like that. They came back out with like chicken snackers or something like that in the last little bit. That was like 2 chicken strips or something, but it wasn't the same as what the Chicken Littles were whenever I was a kid growing up. I remember the Chicken Littles that had that mayonnaise on it, and then had some pepper mix in that mayonnaise, and man, those were good. I think it was on a different kind of bun too. Jeff was stolen from his shop behind 2 lock gates and had a tongue lock. They really wanted that one. Yeah, with the tools we've got today and the battery power tools that we have, like, I mean, if somebody really, really wants to steal something, I mean, other than the best thing you can have is like cameras and stuff that send you alerts so you can kind of know about it and be doing like trying to get to it in time or do whatever, depends on how far away it is from you. Uh, but yeah, anybody can break in anything today with the tools we've got, especially all the battery powered tools. What's up, Thomas? Crackheads will be crackheads. Yeah, that's usually who's behind it. Like I said, I'm lucky, which some of that stuff goes on in the town I work in. It doesn't go in where I live at. Doesn't happen at all. Where I work at, it's just not the areas I work in, but there's parts of that town where it can get that way. But I'm too expensive for any of that. I'm never over there. I do my best to plan for what I need, take the basics with me, and call it good. Less chance of stuff going missing. Isn't all fried chicken for you, KFC? Yeah. I actually don't eat fried chicken that much anymore either. That's not something I eat a lot of. The one thing I like fried pork chops, like homemade fried pork chops. I like that better than fried chicken. Like bone in fried pork chops. Those are really good. I haven't had them in a long time either. I don't really honestly I don't eat a lot of fried food. Like breaded fried food because wings and stuff, if I get wings, I prefer them not to be breaded. Like I like just unbreaded wings because like Hooters are breaded, which we don't have one here. Roosters, we've got a Roosters. Theirs are kind of the same that they're breaded. Um, so I like wings more so like Wingstop or Buffalo Wild Wings, like the kind that doesn't have any kind of breading on them. Locking up the shop and headed home. You better lock it up extra tight, Jeff. Tom said a few years ago, a new construction house was hit several times. Finally, the GC started sleeping in the home. He caught them one night and held them by gunpoint until the cops came. Yeah. Woe to the man who tries to break in and steal my stuff. Because I'll know it within 2 seconds. And then you'll be hearing a the next thing you know, you might be a next door neighbor to a freezer and a sinkhole. Yeah, like I said, I'm lucky. Most of the time on the jobs I'm on, it's typically almost even the same. Even if I'm working on a job and I'm not the like GC like main person and I've got subs, even if I'm a sub working for somebody else and they've got other subs, it's still typically for the most part we work around the same crews, so we all know each other. So there's not even like that hey, I don't know this guy over here, so I don't know if I'm gonna leave my tools out today type thing. My wife knows how to hide bodies. See, Appalachian guitars. Let me go ahead and see this. I'll pin this before I start reading it. Do you feel like Veto might be recycling ideas, making easy changes without much performance improvement for fast money grabs? It seems to me like the nerd bags might lack new improvements. I've only seen the bucket things, and I know the bucket thing is going crazy right now. So it might be that might be why they kind of threw them together. Like buckets are a big thing. Uh, but buckets are also pretty useful for a lot of people. Like I said, I don't know how big the biggest one is and all that kind of stuff. I can't imagine they're like carrying around like a bucket boss thing or something like that. I don't think they look like they was that size because I think the biggest picture I saw was the biggest one had a meter in it or something, or was maybe that the medium one and the biggest one had a drill or something in it. I don't remember. But none of the tools that were in it to me looked like they were huge. But yeah, I haven't seen any new like actually I saw something that came out the other day, but I couldn't tell if it was AI or something else. It was on Facebook and I started looking for it because I don't know where that guy even got that picture from, but it did look like a legit Veto thing. And it was some kind of a meter bag, kind of like an MB bag, but it didn't look like any of the MB bags that were out, like the 4B or anything like that. It kind of almost looked more so like a Velocity. Like, I know Velocity's got a bag that's more so for diagnostic tools and stuff like that. Like, it's a little bit fatter. It kind of looked like that, and it looked really nice. Other than that, the only other bags I've seen them come out with is they've got a new, like MCT, but it's called like the MCS something, MCST or something like that. It looked like it had just basically like a computer side in one side. And then I also saw one other bag here in the last little bit that's supposed to be coming soon type thing. Like they're not out yet, but none of them were like a new bag. It was kind of like an iteration of another bag. But like you said, it was almost like an MCT. That bag was like an MCT with a computer slot in the back where you could buy a V-swap panel and probably kind of do the same thing. I don't know why they come out with a total different bag. Rubber bases. Yeah, I saw that too. Husky buckets were around 10 years ago in your local HD. Jonathan said, fudge buckets. I need my tools enclosed. I'm that way too. I prefer it that way. This depends on what it is I'm using it for. Like sometimes, like I use this bucket today as a trash bucket, but obviously I wouldn't pay $100 for a Veto bucket to use as a trash bucket. But sometimes I do carry in like that Veto cargo bag. Like I use it to just throw big tools and stuff in to carry into a job. But because I almost thought about buying, I think there's called like a rigger's bag or something like that at one point in time. Or I know they had a one year like the drill bag was free, or you bought the drill bag, you got something free. Like they used to have like a drill. It had a bunch of slots for drills and stuff in the middle, and then had a bunch of pockets on the outside. I can't remember what the name of it was. But I had thought about buying like that, or that. I think there's like was it a FRXXL or something like that, like a framer's bag, just to have a big wide open thing to throw stuff in, not to use as a daily carry, but just for them specific jobs to carry in like bigger tools. Tech SCT. Yeah, that's the one that I saw. Looks like a lot of Veto knockoffs going around. Yeah, and I don't know what the deal is with that. Is that, which I know a lot of times China just does stuff because it's China, but I didn't know if it was because Veto sold to, because it didn't start happening until the Malco company, whatever the name of that company was, bought Veto. I didn't know if that played a role in patents or something like that being released. But yeah, there's Sir Master of None had a picture of one that was like it was called HY or something like that, because Mellow Tough has some, but this one was HY, and it looked just like the MB5B, and I think it was like $150 or something like that, which is half price. I haven't seen one of them in person yet, though. Like, yeah, it's one thing for a bag to look like another bag, but that's only part of the, and to have all the same pockets. That makes it usable, but is it enjoyable? I don't know. I'd have to see one in person and use it for a while to see if the pockets stretch the same and all that kind of stuff like that. Because you can make something look like something, but that don't mean it is it. We have had laptop tech bags for a long time. I usually had to take bucket organizers and make pockets in them. Appalachian's gone back to open top bags. Couldn't do enclosed bags. Most people are usually either or. Like I get both sides of it. Like, because me running that SBLD, there were some times where I'm like, oh man, it's nice not to have to open this up every time I need something real fast. More so just grabbing something out of my truck, because my bag was sitting right there. So basically every time I opened my door, my tools were staring me in my face. And if I only needed a pair of pliers or a screwdriver, I'm just like, boop, don't have to spend the time opening the flap and doing all that kind of stuff. But I still, function wise, just to keep it out of dirt and weather and all that, I like enclosed, but then also I just like the look of it better. Not that that really matters, but it's just a preference thing for me. Some way said, let's see, one time, some guys built a single rail ladder out of our cutoffs to get to an open attic vent, walked across the attic, lowered the folding stairs, unlocked the door, and loaded their pickup tools. Yeah. Yeah, I think if I was somebody who was running again, I don't normally work at places that are, the only time that quadplex I built would have been the only thing, and that was on a campus that has cameras everywhere. But I think if I was just building like a house out somewhere, and you know, you don't have power yet, and all that kind of stuff like that, I'd figure out some way to have myself a camera there that would send me alerts, whether you had to pay money for a, Starlink thing or whatever it is you got to do. It'd be worth it, in my opinion, if you lived in an area where that was a big problem. Klein has one that you will see hanging on the back of Lyman trucks. Big Dad 24 said. Yeah, Klein's got quite a few things for Lyman specific, like even like hangers to put in their buckets, all sorts of tools. Like they do make a lot of just 100%. That's all it's for. And it's pretty cool that a company still like will do that, because it's like, yeah, there are a lot of linemen out there and they need a lot of tools and all that kind of stuff, but it's like that's still like a very niche thing to be a company that's just going to say we're going to spend a lot of time and effort designing things and all that kind of stuff for this one little niche, instead of just saying, hey, we just make tools that everybody uses, and then that way we've got a bigger audience. So I think it's still cool that they do spend a lot of effort making stuff specifically for linemen. Pie Guy just got home to join in, received the bit holder the other day in the mail. Matt said, I seen the Canadian Tool Addict videos on the clones. That's one of the ones I saw, like the TPXXL infrared. I saw his video. Super cheap, but clearly not the same. Yeah, that's why I said you can make something look like it, have the same pocket layout, but that's the thing about the Veto to me, and that's what I tell everybody whenever they talk about how much they are and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, it could be a placebo thing for me because I spent so much money on it. But that's just like even the MP pouches. Like I've run, I don't know how many different pouches in my life, but the MP2X and the MP1 and all that stuff has just been by far the best pouch I've ever ran. Like I just love the way my screwdrivers slide in and out of it. I don't know what it is that's any different, because the pockets don't like look a whole lot different than somebody else's, but for whatever reason, I just feel like they work better. Like your tools come in and out of them easier. So it's just more enjoyable to use. So making it look like one is one thing, making it function like one's a whole nother thing. I'm going to get Lexi said she's going to get her hands on one of the Mellow Tough bags when she can. Some batting board and a layer of OSB is much easier to get through. A lot of times, if you find it probably depends on what area you live in, but you can find a vinyl siding house sometimes, and all it is vinyl siding, and then they might have put plywood on the corners. But other than that, it's just like foam board almost, that you can just take a utility knife, cut through that, and cut through drywall and be right in. Companies out there that provide a camera trailer that deploys like a light tower trailer, they rent them out to job sites. Somebody's got air tags on everything. Clock's almost correct. Yeah, today I changed out. I just did one job today. I went to a house and changed out all the hinges on every cabinet to a soft close hinge. I think it ended up being 80 something hinges. And then of course you got to adjust all of them, but I bought them off Amazon. They're whatever this is. They're pretty decent for the price. They were the highest rated ones on Amazon, because I couldn't find I needed a 1/2 inch overlay, and all I could find at Home Depot and Lowe's were the 1.5 and 1.25 inch. So I had to go to somewhere and order them anyway. So I just ordered them off Amazon and showed them to them. But they were pretty nice for the price. I got 80 of these for the price of, if I would have bought some at Home Depot of the other overlay that were soft close, I got 80 of them for the price of what I would have bought 30 of them at Home Depot. But their old ones had a bunch of little plastic pieces in them that were breaking, and it was making them not like lock into place, so they were kind of loose and hanging, and there's a little plastic piece in there that kept breaking on some of them. But some of these are still okay though. If I wanted to use them for something, building furniture or something, I got a whole bucket of them. Next week for me is going to be pretty crazy, it seems like, though. It's been around Christmas and stuff, I didn't work hardly much at all, and then I wasn't really like banging on people's doors of, hey, I'm ready to start something. But next week, me and my buddy got a pretty big week lined up, and we're starting one job that we just went and looked at. That's a pretty decent sized job. Time to upgrade my impact. What would you recommend? I don't know. What you got now? That'll let me know where you're starting at. I need some good cameras, but usually no Wi-Fi at my jobs. Any suggestion with good wireless, cloud-based with no Wi-Fi cameras that I can move job to job? I don't know any that I haven't used any, but I know there's several of them out there. So anybody get any new tools? It was a slow week for me this week, but I got some pretty good stuff coming. I just don't know when it's going to get here. But I didn't even go to, I don't even think, yeah, I did go to Lowe's this week. I went into Lowe's and went back there and checked out the back aisle clearance. Wasn't nothing back there, but they didn't have any new tools out of anything I saw. And neither at Home Depot. So I don't think I bought a single tool this week at all. Michael said he pulled out his Makita with self-tapper, seemed to be better than the DeWalt. Matt bought the Vessel interchangeable blade screwdriver. DIY Crasher said they make cameras that are connected to cell phone carrier like AT&T or Verizon. They can be controlled through an app and have pan tilt functions. Yeah, I'm sure that like most stuff you can get these days, you can get it added onto your cell phone plan. Like I said, I have no idea how much any of it costs or what's a good one to get. Of course, then somebody's gonna steal all your tools and a camera. TPG got the Railer bit holders, a set of Railer bits, some Irwin strippers that go down to 22 gauge, and a flashlight. That's a good knockoff of the Sofern IF23. Ryan didn't buy any new tools, but I got my buddy to switch from DeWalt to Milwaukee after his drill died. Yeah, the guy I work with runs everything Milwaukee now too, and he had a lot of DeWalt tools whenever we started working together. I got him into M12, and then after that he started buying other Milwaukee stuff. I just need something I can check with my phone. Yeah, I would think you can get stuff that like on and put it on your cell phone plan somehow, some way. King Hog got a Leatherman Arc. Thomas Brown pulled the trigger on the buy more, save more mod boxes at Lowe's. Still not sure if they're for me yet. We'll see how they fit in the truck. I think I've got some Klein stuff coming based on the email they sent me. And then I've got a couple other things coming from some places. I've had a few others contact me and I sent them something, but I never heard back from them. For finesse, some way said you need to get a Makita. And for fast and hard, he said get a Milwaukee or DeWalt. Mac bought a Milwaukee kit that had a voltage tester and a GFCI tester. Was on clearance from $30 down to $8. Man, my Home Depot has not had any good clearance for a long time. I kept going in there, and they still never had put like any of that Christmas, Black Friday stuff really on clearance either. But mine hadn't had anything good on clearance at Home Depot for a while. Lowe's has had a few things here or there sometimes whenever I go back there, but it's mostly been material stuff. Thing that makes me mad about Lowe's, I went back there the other day and they had 3 garage door openers back there and no price on them. It's like they stick stuff back there all the time and don't put prices on them. It's like I'm gonna pack this garage door opener all the way up to the front and say, "Can you tell me how much this is?" It's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. It's like I don't know why y'all put stuff back there and then don't mark it. What's up, JTX Tools? How am I enjoying my new Modbox setup? Yeah, I really like it so far. I like not having to mess with that. And it's not that the drawers are like so much better for me personally as far as like quality or anything like that than the Milwaukee. It's just the ease of getting in and out of them. Having that little latch is really nice. And I kind of, for my tools, like I used in my Packout drawers, I had like tools spread out all over the place. And now I just use those little mid-size, the half ones or whatever. I just got all my hand tools down in there. Now they're just jumbled in there, but they're the ones I don't use every day, like a pair of like, you know, cutters and the extended reach Milwaukee pliers, just all that kind of stuff that's just, hey, I want them with me. So if I run into a situation, I've got them on me, not nothing that I'm going to keep in my tool bag or anything like that. So I don't mind that it takes me a minute or two to dig through 2 or 3 tools to find the one I'm looking for. But I like using those because I can fit a bunch of them in that and it doesn't take up a whole one drawer. Midwest Cyclist said finesse is Festool. Thomas said in some ways they're too big and too small at the same time. Yeah, that's the only thing. That's the only downside about buying like a Packout or Modbox is that it's not like custom. Like I built my 1-2 drawers, the heights of them to fit exactly the height of most of my tools, and then that way there's no wasted space and all kinds. Like I made my bit drawer the same size as I figured out that my Modbox cases were the thickest of the cases I had, so I made them where I could stack at least 2 of those in there. So you can kind of customize things and make it work without wasting space versus those are already pre-made and you're just making it work. But the nice thing about those is, like I said, I could go in my truck right now and take every single one of them out and easily put them in somewhere else, whether it's my garage, and not have to do anything but click them together. That's kind of the nice thing about those. And you don't have to build them. You just go to the store, buy them, throw them in. So there's downsides to them, but upsides too. My HD got rid of the whole clearance section. Michael said, mine got rid of one of them. We used to have 2, and now I've only got 1. I haven't seen the Mac Track. Thomas said he looked at the Mac Track today too. I haven't seen them in person yet either. I've seen pictures that a few Home Depots that they're out at some Home Depots, but I haven't seen them in person. My Home Depot doesn't have any. Manny Panko, are you aware of the Galaxy Vessel electric screwdriver? I want the high torque version, but I don't know if they come in the Galaxy ones. Yes, I'm very aware of them. I've got, I think, 4 of them now. I've only got the 3-speed ones. They come in the Galaxy colors. Like I've got a red one. It's out my truck, but I actually prefer the 3-speed because the 3-speed, I think the torque on the one of the settings is the same as the high torques, but the speed is faster than the speed of the high torque. So you get the same torque as what the high torque has, but you have the speed, a little bit more speed at that same torque level, and then you've also got other options with it. So the Galaxy ones that are the 3-speed, in my opinion, are the best ones anyways, or the 3-speed if you don't even buy the like Galaxy colored ones and you just buy the Japan version or whatever. I feel like the 3-speed is the best one, and the 3-speed is also USB-C charging, and all the other ones are micro USB. But yeah, I absolutely love that tool. Like, one of my favorite tools, probably, like I said, in the last 10 years, it's probably up there. Top 5 for sure. I need a new car jack for my car next. Been considering the Harbor Freight 1.5 ton. I bought a Pittsburgh 3-ton. It was on sale. I love it. It's by far the best jack I've ever owned, but I never really had any fancy ones. You know, that's as fancy as it's got for me is that one. But man, it's way better than any of them I've ever used before. It's super nice. I got it on sale for, I don't remember, it was pretty cheap. They had a deal going on one day. If you can find the Galaxy ones, they're nice. My Galaxy Purple looks fantastic. They were truly limited edition, though, and getting hard to find. Yeah, you can still find the screwdrivers like this that are the Galaxy. Like, you can get on eBay and get those. There's probably some stores, maybe two, here or there, where you can still get the red. Like, this is the gray. They got red and blue and purple. You can still find these pretty easily. But the electric ones are a little bit harder to find. Sizzle next got the Bora NGX track guide plate at Lowe's, clearance $20, down from $49. I've seen those. I haven't used one, but I've seen them in Lowe's. That's the one where you it comes with like a plate that you put on your saw, I think, right? Or is it just the one that you use and like strap it onto the use it like almost like a fence? I know Bora's got something like that too, but I think yours is the one where you put it on your saw. Are the purple ones the high torque version or the high speed? 3-speed, all the colors. So yeah, if you're seeing any of them that are the Galaxy colors, they're all going to be 3-speed. Now they've got some that are like just gray with a red line and gray with, you know, different other, like just a line, like an accent. They have some other versions that are high torque and all that, but yeah, the 3-speed is a high torque with a faster speed and USB-C. And if it was me and I wasn't buying if you can't find the colored version, you're just going to buy a regular 3-speed. They've got a US version and they've got a Japan version. I'd buy whichever one's cheaper, but if you want to get rid of the play that's in it, some people care, some people don't. The Japan one's a lot easier to fix than the US version is. Clint's got the 3-ton Pittsburgh also. Michael said he paid $89 for his. That's probably something. I want to say I paid it was right around $100, so I might have paid $99 or something whenever I got mine. But it was really good. Like I said, it's a really nice jack. Midwest Cyclist, how about the Vessel E-Assist ratchet? I don't have one of those. I think Jeff Bowery, which he left because he's on his way home. He's listening, so he probably won't be able to comment. But I think he's got one. I think. Max said he talked to an HG store manager before Christmas. Word came down from corporate to get rid of the clearance areas, put those items next to similar tools that are not on clearance. And Sizzleneck said that is the one that has the plate for the saw. Yeah, I've seen that in there. I've got a track saw, but I've actually thought a few times of getting one of those just so that, you know, if you just need something somewhere and don't want to pack a whole track saw. And plus my track saw is a corded track saw, not like cordless, so I don't have a cordless track saw. eBay has Galaxy electric screwdriver. Yeah, that's probably the only place you're going to probably find one. That's where really you can mostly find these at too, for the most part. They're still kind of hard to find, but they're not. These aren't priced too bad because you get a set of two, which these are just the regular. These are the tang through though. These are my favorite screwdrivers, but it's like $36. And if you go to Amazon and buy the non-colored ones, like just the standard ones, you can get the Phillips one for like $10, $11, but the slotted one is hard to find sometimes in this length right here, the 100 length. So sometimes the slotted one costs you like $18. So then you're at, you know, $28. So it's like $6 or $7 more to get a colored version if you want a colored version instead. So it's not like it's drastically more, but the electric ones are. Mike said he even noticed one of his stores had gotten rid of the clearance and put up a smaller one in the very back of the store behind the wood. Yeah, so mine used to always, mine's got one kind of in the middle of the store, in the middle aisle, in the middle of the middle aisles. There's one spot there. That's the one they got rid of. And then there's one in my store right before, it's kind of back there by the electrical stuff, right before you go outside into the garden center at mine. That's the only one that's still there now. But I haven't really noticed anything like, but I'm trying to think if I actually walked around the store and looked at very much. I walked up towards the front to see if they put any of that other stuff on clearance, like the, you know, stuff sitting out in the middle of the aisle, and they didn't have any of that on clearance. But I'm trying to think if I saw any other yellow tag stuff just walking around. Amazon Basics has an okay electric screwdriver. Jeff has the ESC ratchet, and yes, he loves it. Quietest impact I own is the old Ryobi oil impact. That's so quiet. Yeah, the Surge isn't super quiet, but it's way quieter than a regular one. And I always call my, you know, this is my quiet impact right here. Like if I need to make, if I'm somewhere where I can't make a lot of noise, period, it's like I just get out one of these. That's because these have gotten way more powerful now. Like back in the day, whenever impacts first came out, the difference between putting in something with an impact and a drill was quite big, in my opinion. Like there's a lot of stuff that drills wouldn't put in, even if you had it on like the drill setting, versus now these things have gotten pretty powerful to where they've almost kind of pushed to where you could really get by not having an impact, I think, for the most part, if you really wanted to run a drill all the time. And they're definitely a lot more quiet than an impact is, but it's just a different feel. I think it's a lot harder to control something, uh, keep it on the fastener and all that stuff, in my opinion. With a drill, for some reason, an impact, it just seems like it stays on fasteners and stuff a little bit easier. Makes the Surge seem like a drum set. I'm gonna have to check my Home Depot. I love the clearance shelf. Yeah, that's the first place I go. Every place I go in, I know where some clearance stuff is, and I just go look. And a lot of times, like if I'm in between, like if I finish a job early and I can't get in my next job early, and I got like, you know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes to kill, that's when I'll stop at Lowe's and I just go back there and see if they put out anything new at that back aisle clearance. Or I'll go over to Home Depot and check theirs out, and then just look around, see if I see some new tools or something like that. What impact rated hex bits are you running? I have so many different ones. I don't really, don't run specific like, ooh, I just love this one way more than the rest of them. It's whatever's the closest to me. Usually I've got like one of these in my truck and just full of just random. So I got like Weehaw, I got DeWalt, Milwaukee, a bunch of older DeWalts. I've got a bunch of DeWalt bits because I mentioned it before. You might not have been watching me since I've talked about it, but there for the longest time I ran these cases and I kept buying bukus and bukus of sets so I could get, and just so I could get the little black pieces out of them and make myself these bigger boxes. And so like whenever they had Black Friday and you could buy like 4 or 5 of them for 19 bucks, I'd buy them. So I got enough DeWalt bits in here in bags. Like I just got bags and bags of DeWalt bits to last me and 15 other people probably the rest of our lives. But I mean, I've got Weehaw bits. I've got, so I don't really have a, they all worked for me. Like I don't, if one breaks, I got so many of them, it's not a big deal. Now on the Torx, I will say, typically the ones that they give you, which are the GRKs, I guess, the ones they give you in the package with the screws, they do tend to work better than if you go use one out of a, you know, screwdriver or pack or something. So I try to save those as much as I can if I'm doing a big job. Start sending out bits like KC Tools. A bit of thanks. Yellow tag, but $1 off. Yeah, that's how a lot, anything I see that's yellow tagged at my Home Depot, if it's not in that clearance section, that's typically what it is. I've even seen it. I don't, that might be Lowe's. One of the places, like it's a yellow tag and it's the same price as the non-yellow tag that's sitting there right by it. Lewis, are you curious about the Snap-on nano screwdriver? I haven't looked at it. I don't buy a lot of Snap-on stuff. That's usually out of my price range. Well, it's out of my price range of what I typically want to spend for whatever that tool is. Like if I can get something that's equivalent and better, or equivalent-ish and like a third of the price, I'm not going to buy it. There's Sir Master of None. What's up, buddy? Jake Wahe's in here. The guy in the last guest to trade had some of your little Wahe design canisters down in his Husky tote, using it to separate all his stuff a little bit in his bag. Amanda would love to let me see some of my stuff go. I've sold quite a few things this week, actually. I sold my TPLD. I think I mentioned that in the, I don't guess I've said that in here. I think I mentioned it in the guest to trade video that I already filmed, because I'm like, I think I already told y'all that, but I don't guess I did. I think it'll be in the video Saturday. I think I mentioned it Saturday. Cause I think that's what the bag is, and the guest to trade this Saturday, I think, is a TPLD. What else did I sell this week? TPLD. I sold some different hand tools that I had just way too many of them. I just put them in a bundle and sold them. I sold my Veto MPMX because I have found myself not using it that much, and it's just not because it's not a good pouch. I kept on throwing this on and put my meter in it most of the time instead of that, because instead of swapping all my MP2X tools over into that one and then putting my meter in it, it was just, I have this in my truck anyways, so I just put my meter on one side and my MP2X on the other, and I was like, I doubt I'm probably going to use this MX that much. It's probably not worth me keeping it, so I ended up selling that one too. It's like if I didn't have another option, or a lot of times I'm wearing my vest even, and then I've got 2 big old pockets right there, I just throw my meter in that. It was one of those things that if I didn't have a 2X, I'd probably use it more. Or if I didn't have one of those, I'd use it more. But because I've got all those things, it just didn't make sense for me to swap my tools back and forth all the time. So I just ended up getting rid of it. I just hated it sitting in here and nobody using it. It's one of them things. the T10 and the trim screws is a decent one, but only lasts so long. Yeah, those little trim screw will eat up the heads of some bits pretty fast because those T10s break easy too. Modbox 2.0. I think I might be getting my hands on some of those too, I think. Lowe's has the Grabos for $50. Lewis says that's dirt cheap if that's the case. Like the battery powered DeWalt versions, $50, or is it a Grabo version? Either way, that's dirt cheap. But Thomas McFly's got the PB Swiss T25, and it's by far, it says, it's by far his hands down favorite. I haven't ever, I don't have a lot of PB Swiss bits. I got the ones that came in here. I don't know if I've ever even bought any like separately, and I find myself, it's like I don't want to waste them on something. But yeah, you know, I've got some, but I've never put them in my impact. I didn't know how well they'd work in an impact because I don't think these are necessarily impact rated. Yeah, there's a red colored vessel too for, but that's again not an electric one. Just a thanks for the KRA tutorial on your truck loadout the other day. You're welcome, buddy. Appreciate you making them. Have I heard much about the new Veto Evo system? No, I saw a picture today that a couple guys sent me, but I didn't see any. I haven't seen anything about it other than like a picture. But I'm not really like I don't have a contact at Veto. Like I buy all my Veto stuff. Like I don't have anybody at Veto that sends me anything, or I even emailed them one time, I think. Because it was a given, like their address is even Morgan Avenue. It's like it sells itself. MPMX was huge. Yeah. I said I liked it. I just didn't see the sense in. I've already got my MP2X sitting here with all my tools in it. It's just as easy for me to throw my meter in my vest pouch or just throw something like that on. Instead of me swapping back and forth, and then having to get used to where my tools are in that MPMX too. And in my mind, it's also almost a little bit better to have your meter not in with your tools, because like you go sticking your screwdrivers or pliers back in and that meter's just sitting right there in the middle, and you're sitting there, if you're not looking, you just bang it and everything else. So it's kind of not a bad idea to have them separate, in my opinion, too. The Grabo version, back of the store, he said. So $50 back of the store at his Lowe's. That's a pretty good deal. That's pretty handy to have. Like I don't use mine very often, but the times I've used it, I'm like, man, I'm glad I've got this thing. I've got the DeWalt version. I don't have the Grabo version, but hex bits for impact, PB Swiss if you have bottomless pockets, Weehaw for quality and price, followed by Makita XPS for value and ease of replacement. All three have great fitment. Matt said his Vessel T10s last the longest. Hex bits are consumables. Yeah, all my bits are just, I probably actually need to. I kind of treat my bits like I treat my blades and my fastbacks and stuff. Like I'll have it, my buddy makes fun of me all the time because like he's like, I got probably 10 packs of blades in my truck, but I'll be sitting there trying to cut stuff and it'd be dull as all get out. And I just, for whatever reason, it's like it burns me up to have to change bits and blades. But I've got old bits in here that are probably half worn out, and I just need to toss them because I got so many of them. But it's like, it's one of them things where I just never throw them away. I just swap it out and throw it in one of these, and I still got them laying here until they break. Like once a Phillips breaks off completely, then of course it's done. But Clint said I got the MPMX in my cart. Oh, if I'd have known that, I'd have sold it to you. I was thinking you already had all of them. I have an MP2X and don't even fill all the pockets typically. I don't have like I've got one outside pocket, not the pass through, but the outside one on the outside of that. One of those is always empty on mine, but that's what I like. Sometimes I'll take like the auto strippers or something and stick the handle, like one handle down in that and let it hang off. Or I've also got like, I think maybe two of the little small pocket driver type size open. And then I typically also have like my tape measure, that little pocket that's behind your tape measure clip. That one's open because sometimes I clip different tools on that. So mine's not always 100% full, but I keep the same stuff in there for the most part. If you want a lower profile KRA for the steel bar, I'll send you a new version, half as wide. Be really helpful on the MB 2.0. The new rails are an inch shorter from front to back. Yeah, because I think I'm getting some 2.0 stuff. I don't know what I'm getting that's 2.0, but so the new rails are 1 inch shorter from front to back. You should save all your broken bits for when you take up forging in your retirement. Yeah, I can be like Mikey Pipes. I haven't watched his stuff in a long time. I got on a kick of watching him a long time ago, and I haven't seen any of his stuff for a long time. But I know he bought like I guess a forge, like in a way. But he was taking like old copper pipe and stuff like that, and started doing that. MP pouches went up in price this first of the year. Oh, so I got what you're saying now. The new rails are shorter. I don't have I've got all I got's the rolling box in here. I know what you're saying now. I was trying to, the front to back thing was throwing me off, but you're talking about like the actual like length of that, the rail thing that you have room for, I guess, is going to be shorter. That kind of stinks a little bit, I guess, if you're somebody, because it's pretty tight on those. Like there's less I can fit on that than the rail that I had on my Packout, because the Packout rails were all the way to the outside, which I've only got the compact drawers in my truck. Like I don't know if it's different on the. Yeah, you get a little bit. Well, no, which that's the rolling box. It's got the wheels in the back, so that could be different too. I don't have any of the Klein stuff that's not like, that's the only Klein like regular style box, and it's a rolling box. I don't have any of anything besides those compact drawers, like to know like if their toolbox is wider than those drawers, because those drawers got a little bit of a face that comes around the ends. Mikey Pipes Uncensored is a hoot. Michael said I enjoy him and John Phillips back to back. Yeah, I got on a kick of watching him a lot. It's kind of whenever I first started watching YouTube. He was just something that came up my feed a lot. And like I said, I watch, for some reason, I watch a lot more HVAC content than anything else. And I don't know why, but I just do. Or I think it might be because there's more HVAC people on YouTube than there is anything else. So will MB 2.0 not fit MB 1.0? I think, I don't know for sure, but I think the locking mechanism and all that kind of stuff, it looks like to me the base and all that kind of, unless they had to shift like where it was, but it looked like to me they're all similar, but I don't know that for sure. I haven't really like delved into it, like to look up what the specific difference is and all that kind of stuff is. Less Sparkies for sure, video wise, than there used to be. I haven't seen anything, Thomas, that says that the 1.0 and 2.0 aren't going to fit together. I guess I'll say that, but because it didn't look like to me on the lids and all that, like there was some kind of crazy design change, on them that I saw. I did notice that there was, I was seeing like in the pictures that the Connect boxes, like these kind of boxes, or Modbox boxes, like these kind. I think somehow or other they're able to snap into the tops and stuff now too. I think I saw it in a picture. I guess I'll say that. I don't know. Don't take that. Don't take that as a fact. I just saw it in a picture. Yeah, somebody at Appalachian just said that. So Connect boxes will also snap on. So I think I think that's a big change in the 1.0 to 2.0 is probably because they started coming out with more of that stuff and didn't really plan on it maybe per se whenever they first started coming out with Modbox, and they're trying to integrate it a little bit better. Mm-hmm. All I know is it's nice to be able to be out here in a t-shirt or a short sleeve shirt because it's cold outside. Can't remember what it. Let's see. Yeah, 23 outside, which it was super cold this morning. It's really cloudy. Wind was blowing. 20 degrees. It even snowed for a little bit, but like just spitting it. Of course, some of y'all are probably thinking, that ain't cold, but it's cold here. Thomas used to carry my stuff in sustainers, and when they switched the locking systems, they still fit. So hoping that will be true again. Gonna get a pink bucket at Lowe's. The 5G1. Oh yeah, the little small mini pink bucket. I didn't see any whenever I was there again. But I didn't go down the paint aisle. Somebody, I think one of y'all said that they were in the paint aisle. I don't think I went down the paint aisle. I didn't see them out front. Tanner got his pink bucket a few weeks ago. Appalachian was just about to go all in on Modbox, and then Veto announced the Evo coming soon. The wait continues. Need the MB wire spool, though. That's the beauty to me of like somebody like Jake or Cameron or anybody that does the 3D printing stuff. Like those adapter plates, they're expensive, but you're going to find some stuff. I don't care what system you get into. Like if you decide, hey, I'm going to be a Modbox person, hey, I'm going to be a Packout, I'm going to be whatever Veto comes out with. It doesn't matter which system you pick. Some other system's going to have something that you're going to want that your system doesn't have. And it's the same thing for them. Whatever system you're in, there's something that system doesn't have that you are able to get in the system that you decided to buy. So it is nice that if somebody comes out with something like that wire spool, and it's like something that would just be like game changer for you and your workflow, that you can say, okay, it stinks, but I'm gonna spend $50 on an adapter and be able to add this into my Packout stuff. It's nice that you can at least do that. I mean, that's pretty good that that's something that we can do now. Because like I said, it don't matter what system you get into. They're not all going to have everything you want. There's definitely going to be something on another one that you're going to think, man, I wish my system had this. That's just bottom line. Big one. Oh, I've got a pink 5-gallon bucket. It's down there in my other area downstairs down there. I picked up a big one a long time ago. I never had found a mini one yet. Somebody wants to thank Clint publicly for sending an SC45. Yeah, I saw your picture some way before I came out here that you emailed me. Thomas said the one thing he liked a lot more about the Mac Track is the locking and lid mechanism was much nicer than the Packout and Modbox. That's the one thing that which back whenever I first bought mine, Packout was the only one where you pull on it with one finger and pull it off. So that's what made me get into Packout. It wasn't even that it was Milwaukee. It's like the way that it latched, because I actually had a tough built, or not a tough built, Tough Stack or whatever DeWalt's is. I still got it somewhere. I don't know what I'm looking for it now. I don't know what I did with it. What did I do with that? Oh, it's stacked over in this thing. I got it with some tools that I bought, and then I decided I'm gonna buy another thing, and I hated latching those together. And then it wasn't even latching them was the worst part. It was the unlatching them. You had to use two hands. Didn't matter. And then so whenever I saw Packout was like one hand, easy pull on, pull off, snaps in super easy. That's what made me go into Packout. Of course, now Modbox is very similar to that. You know, the tough built one's really nice the way that it works. So there's multiple options now. Of course, I'd already got into Packout because at the time, whenever I got into Packout, it was pretty much Packout, DeWalt, and maybe Rigid had theirs, I guess. That was probably the main three at the time whenever I got into Packout. Just get into a system that's going to stick around. Yeah, that's what Matt said. I ain't gonna lie to you. Whenever the Tough Built stuff came out, and I saw how it latched, and because that's one thing about like how Tough Built latches is different than everybody else's, and it's a big deal in certain situations. Let me see if I just get two small ones down up here. Like if you're limited on space, so like in my deck drawers in particular, like these fit perfectly in a deck drawer, but I can't, like, to lock them, you have to be able to be out here some, like this much. So then it doesn't fit perfectly in my deck drawer. So to snap them together, to put them in my deck drawer, I've got to take them out, snap them together, and then it fits in there like a glove because it's like the perfect size. But the Tough Built, you know, to lock them, you just, you know, set it on there like that. So you don't have to have that little extra room to be able to do that. So whenever I saw that, I was like, I don't know, that might be something I want to check out. But then of course now it's like, not only have I not seen any of that new stuff they're supposed to come out with, but now all their tools are like gone and everything else too. So if I had spent a bunch of money in that, I'd be a little leery. Thomas said maybe it's mine because, or maybe it's because they're new, but it's hard to latch and unlatch one-handed when full. And see, I haven't really latched and unlatched mine that much, Thomas, because I mostly just have the drawers that are in my truck. So I put them in that one time, and then I very rarely, you know, I haven't even taken them back out. So I don't need. I've only tried it at the store, like here or there or whatever, just to see how it worked. So I've not done it like day in and day out to notice a difference. The one thing that's kind of, and it would be better on the Modbox because I run into this. I wish I just kept these down there now. Let me grab two of them. Because sometimes whenever I'm reaching from far away in my truck, it wouldn't be using these, but it'd be using more so my little slim organizers. It's got my wire nuts and stuff in it. So like if I'm reaching over in there, sometimes I'll catch it like this because it's got all those feet like to fit inside of all 6 of those. So sometimes if I'm reaching real far away, I'll get it like this. I'm sitting there messing with it and I can't get it to get out of there to slide up to the next one. Whereas the Modbox only has 4, so you're less likely to, you know, if you hit anywhere, it's not going to really go back in until you get to the 4th one. So, but it's pretty rare that happens to me, but it is something that happens with, but it's usually with like the little, these cases here is the ones I keep in the back of my truck where I'm doing a lot of reaching. So it's not like it's super heavy for me to pull it back out and lift it up and put it back in there. But the Packout does like latch and unlatch crazy good. Let's see. You did, let's see, Jason Simpson. You did get the Milwaukee Packout tool bag and review it. I'm interested to see your thoughts on it. I never have bought a Packout tool bag. I had thought about it a time or two just because I'm in Packout, but I just know I'm not going to like it as much as Veto. There are certain things where I wouldn't mind being able to have my tool bag and clip like the slim organizer like that on the bottom. Would be kind of nice, but I just know I haven't bought one because I just know I'm not going to like it as much as my Veto bags. But I also don't run like if I rolled a pack of stack out in, or if I rolled a stack of pack out in, like to a job site every day, it would be nice to be able to click your tool bag and stuff in. But me personally, I'd still probably buy a crate and just stick it on the top and throw my Veto bag in it. Thomas liked how you could access the box from either side too on the Makita. Yeah, that is a nice feature. Ron Novak got into the VersaStack T-Stack platform because the small footprint works well for RV storage or for tool storage in an RV. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's perks and benefits to all of them. Like every one of them's going to have something that you're like, oh, I wish mine had this. I mean, that's just the way it goes with anything most of the time. Like you start looking at the differences, and there's always something that you like about one and something that you like about another. So no matter which one you get into, there's going to be something that you wish yours did that it doesn't, and then something that some other one does that you wish yours did, type thing. What was the gray meter bag you were using this week? I missed the name of the manufacturer. Oh, this is the Holstery nickel pouch. It's just one I use sometimes. I put the Pen Pal thing on the back of it. This one's the nickel pouch from Holstery. It's just one open spot, but I mean you could easily use. I've even thought about using that mini Nico thing that I just got recently. If I still haven't played around with that to do anything with it yet. Just any kind of pouch you could even just use a Joey pouch for a meter pouch. I would probably, in all honesty, before I bought this, I'd just buy a Joey pouch and use it for my meter pouch if I wanted to, and then you could use it for other stuff too. But I might end up turning this into a meter. Like I just have so many pouches that I can use to put a meter in. I just decided I wasn't going to keep that MPMX anymore because I knew I wasn't going to swap my tools back and forth. MB slightly tougher to latch and unlatch when compared to Packout, but they also feel much more robust. I don't think the Veto system will be hard storage, maybe some pieces, but the trademark application is for a tool bag, pouch backpack system. I think it might be a new belt clip attachment method. So you mean something like the Tough Built, like those kind of inclines got them on their pouches, like something like that. That's what you're thinking. And those are okay. I like the idea of them, but they're really bulky. Like even the climb one's pretty bulky. Like if you put it on a belt and all that kind of stuff. Like the idea of it is great. Like hey, I can swap back and forth and move it around, but I guess I don't swap around pouches in that way enough that it makes it worth it to me to have. Like I just prefer a small clip. I'm perfectly fine with that right there, and just running it and then hanging that on something. Because all them the Tough Built things and stuff like that, they're pretty thick. Working those quad muscles, making me get slimmer. Michael said he put the clip from his M12 stapler on the Surge. I know I need to take that clip off my stapler because I never really use it on my stapler much. I don't think. It doesn't seem like I do. Put it on something to make it better. Please don't do the structured bags and clip something on it. It gets huge and heavy. I roll my OTMD on the Modbox rolling drawers every day and wish it had Modbox feet so badly. Yeah, I had thought about it one time putting Packout feet on my Veto bags, but at the same time, I don't run a stack that much. All it would be doing is locking it in my truck, and for the most part, my bag sits there and it's wedged to where it can't move anyways. And then whatever I put on the bottom of my Veto bag, I felt like I got a greater risk of scratching somebody's floor or, you know, something like that, which normally I put down a drop cloth, or right now I've been using that Velocity mat thing a lot. I just used it today on the countertop while I was doing all that. But I just think putting that like a 3D printed little feet and stuff like that on your bag, I think you're going to end up causing some problems the time you're not locking it in. But it wouldn't be worth it for me. Since Veto was acquired, they could have a lot more money and resources. Can't say they will never come out with the full system. Oh, let's see. I'm gonna assume it's Howie Wowie, but I don't know if it's Howie. Howie would be how you say Howie or Hawaii or Hoa. I always have a hard time when it's just one big old word, but I'm gonna say Howie Wowie. Hey man, just want to thank you. I'm a homeowner. Learned so much from your videos. Grown up in the city, never been exposed to this kind of things. You're welcome. That's the idea. I definitely make way more tool videos than I make work videos and how-to videos, just because the nature of the beast of my work is most of the time get in and get out, and also usually in public places. So I don't get to film that kind of stuff as much as I want to. But that's the idea, is just helping people. If you had to do it all over again, Jason Simpson said, and Packout and Modbox were out at the same time, you started collecting your storage boxes, which one would you go with? The organizers from Klein, the orange kills it for me. Like, they almost look like they're identical on the inside, like the containers and all that stuff. I've never used one or had one. So to be honest with you, I don't know how well the organizers work from Klein. I don't have any of those. I think I might be getting some here in the next little bit, so I have a better idea. But the crazy bright orange on all of it, a little bit much for me. Because I'm a function person. Like, I care how something functions more so than how it looks. But looks is also important to me too. Like, I like how stuff looks too. Like, if I'm gonna have to look at it all day every day, and then I'm a clean freak, so to me that bright orange is just screaming, getting dirt on it and marks and stuff like that showing up. But function wise, in my opinion, either one of them. Like, if somebody asked me that question, I don't really know that I've got one that I would probably still go Packout right now currently, but that's because they've got deep organizers. You know, I think they got a few more options in organizers and stuff like that than what Klein has. And I mostly use organizers. That's what I use more so than anything. Like, I've got the drawers in my truck. Those just stay in there. It wouldn't matter to me what the drawers are. Like, I bought the Klein ones because I like those better, and they stay in my truck. So it doesn't matter to me that if they're Packout or Klein. I just want good drawers that function right in my box or in my truck. But like organizers, that's pretty much all I use in Packout for the most part. And they just got more options, and those deep ones work really well for like specific toolboxes and stuff like that, or like even receptacles. Like, I've got one that's got let's see what's in this one. Like, here's my door install stuff. Like, ooh, that was almost a big mess. I didn't latch that one. That almost turned into a disaster of screws everywhere. Like, you get into this size, I don't think Klein has anything like this. I don't know if they do or not. But like, I make, like, there's a door install box. Like, some of these things would not fit in a regular compact size organizers. And then you got, I think this one's my receptacles. I need to get on making me some labels for these things, because I kind of know which one's what. Like this, you could obviously take them out of the package and, you know, stick them down. But like, here's the electric plate. The mid size is like the exact height of that. So you either, if you have another one, you're gonna have to lay them down and stack however many you can stack. And then like these boxes for receptacles fit down in here like this. And again, obviously you could turn it like this, but then also the way this one's set up is different than the rest of them, because the rest of them, even if you take all the bins out, you've only got a deep spot here and a deep spot here, versus I could take these three out and have a huge open spot. So it's just a little bit more versatile on the organizer side currently. But again, Modbox, they've been around longer, so they've came out with more stuff. It's not to say Klein's not going to, but I'd say 90 or 85% of my Packout is organizers, whether it's the skinny half ones or the regular ones, or oh, let's see. It scrolled on me. Let me find where I was. Klein needs to go all black. Would be awesome. Or even that, I like that gray color that they got. Or like the drawers, I don't mind. Like they got at least a mix. Like all their other organizers are like just orange, like everything. There's not one bit of them, which I guess Milwaukee's at least got some black and stuff. I don't even know if I'm trying to think of what the latches even look like on the, I guess they might have gray latches, but I don't know. So it's like the whole thing, like at least mix that gray in with it some, because those drawers don't bother me. Like they've got orange on them, but they also got a lot of gray. You could have gone with the lime green Lego Ryobi. Why don't someone go black out? The Hyper Tough system looks nice. That was the other thing about the Tough Built that I did like, that it was black. Because back when the Tough Built stuff first came out, I was really pondering on, I don't know, it might be what I might need to change. Just because the way it locked in, just by setting it in it and all that kind of stuff. And I like it. Looks are important, hence the choice of a wife, is what Miss Maintenance said. Can you use the Modbox accessories and Packout mix and match? I like the variety. I'm sure there's ways. Matter of fact, I can't remember where I seen stuff. Jake might have something where you can attach Packout rails, or attach, like the Klein has that black rail that's like $10. How you can attach them to, you could probably put like a metal thing on your Packout and then hook that on there and hook your Modbox. I'm sure there's ways to go about doing it. They got all kinds of stuff out there. If you just search it, I'm sure it's out there. Blackout is bad for function, but it looks cool. What's up, Quiet Keys? Love the deep organizer. Yeah, it's nice to have some of them. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them now, deep ones. I've got a bulk of mine are the regulars. Like I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think I've got 8 of the regular depth full ones. And I got a ton of the half ones. I like the flex gray, Clint said. which that's another thing, I guess. Like Klein came a little bit later, and by the time they got into it, some of those colors were already. Even though, I mean, I'm sure you could do whatever you want to a degree. I guess they didn't like somebody's got a patent on a color, but you're trying to make yours stand out and be different than the other ones. I'm sure that's why they went with the orange. And it's just such a bright orange too. Like it's not like it's not like a dull orange, because the red's a bright color too, but Milwaukee's red is kind of like a dull looking red, so it's not like boom hitting you in the face. Packout in Europe is black with red latches. I know they look nice. Does grandbaby maintenance have a screwdriver handle pacifier yet? Michael said, I need some bins for the low profile half one. The bit organizer kits only come with 2 bins, and I hate Milwaukee bit cases. My buddy was actually he texted me or called me just the other day and asked me if I had any extra low profile bins like that, which I think I've only got this one. This is the only one I've got. I've got a buku of this size extra, but yeah, I don't have very many extra of these, because mostly all these I take out and make tool things or specific job things. These are pretty much more so for parts and stuff, so I very rarely take these out of the bins. I got a ton of these, and I saw the other day, I don't remember if it was Facebook or something, that somebody had taken. I think that's what I'm gonna do once I move stuff around. Basically took like a T. I'd probably get 2 little boards and kind of maybe explain it. I don't know if I'll be able to explain it with my own words. Let's see what I got over here. Basically built like take another board, make a T upside down, and then was using it like a lip on both sides of them, and sliding these in and out of things, and putting a label on these what they are, and having them like underneath the shelf like that, like sliding them up underneath here. So I may, because I got a bunch of these, so I may end up doing that once I get stuff moved around. And it scrolls on me sometimes, and it goes way down. Let's see, I was there. Packout prices are also high on Etsy. Should do a hyper tough Packout review. I think they look good. Some people have told me they like them. All right, that's where I was. Let's see. Jason Simpson, thanks for the feedback. I was thinking the same thing. Packout's been around a lot longer and have way more, plus the aftermarket accessories. And I guess too, it really depends on how you're going to use it. Because like if you were like an electrician rolling a stack in, Klein's got more accessories that are kind of geared towards that. Again, like also with the wire pull box and all that kind of stuff. So if you're going to run a stack and roll it in, and you pull wire all the time, that's an obvious thing that would be a lot better to have and all that kind of stuff. And then even their carts and accessories are built more for like conduit benders and all kinds of stuff like that. So there are certain people who it makes way more sense to use a certain one, and then there's certain people where they're both good, and they're both going to do good for you because you're kind of using it in a generic way of just everyday stuff. Some ways got a cat hanging itself. Would you send me one? I need one. I need one for one of my organizers. I'll pay. One of the big ones, the tall ones. They sell them quiet keys. You can buy them like this. They're pretty cheap at Home Depot, and they're actually better, to be honest with you. You can buy them like this, and then they got the double ones like this too. And if you buy them like this, they come with these in them. And you don't, and a divider down in there too. So they sell them like this that fit in those. And then I think I've used all my double ones that are like that. They're in boxes somewhere. And they're not too expensive. Like, so if you just need one, these also have these on it. I don't think the regular cups do. Back here, and you can hang them on like those wall mounts and stuff like that. YouTube handles are dumb. Supposed rumors were Packout sued Modbox about the latches. There's many other systems that have same latches. The Chinese are out of Packout knockoff. The Chinese are out of Packout knockoff all the way. That wheels are red in half. I'm not sure what the end of that is trying to say. Wheels are red and have the same thread pattern. Company name is PIT. Don't those bins fit in the 5-drawer? Yeah, they fit in. Let's see. I might can turn it around here. This drawer here, it should be in the picture. They fit in this drawer. I don't think they fit in any of the other ones. They might fit. I mean, you could use them up in here. Obviously, I got one right there. But this drawer, they fit. See how easy that swivels? Yeah, Matt said he'd never seen that, or Quiet said he never seen that. Matt hadn't either. Yeah, they sell, like I said, I thought I had a double one in here. They sell a double one. It's got the same thing. It's got a tray in it too. But I think I've got all those in my actual Packouts. I don't know if I've got one in here. Let me look real fast. Might be one in one of these. No. Actually, yeah, I know I got, it's in my electrical box, which is down there in the other part of the garage. But yeah, they've got one that's the double size width too that does the same thing. It's got a little tray in the top of it. Half size one should fit shallow drawers. Yeah, let's see. We'll try that real fast too. Like I said, I don't ever have very many extra of these because I don't change those out. But yeah, those actually fit like perfect. I don't know if y'all see that or not. Let's see. See if I can get this kind of back. I have to wait. I'm always on a delay. Yeah, y'all can see it now. So yeah, that's like perfect. The same exact height right there. I don't think I've ever seen them sell. The only ones I've seen in packages is like this height. I don't think I've seen them sell any of them that are those. What's up, Tim? That the new excuse in the other part of the garage. I got quite a bit of stuff down there right now. A lot of my tools and everything, because I've just been leaving them down there. Because I've been trying to go down there. Like if I get home, I'll go down there and just do a little bit here and there. If you had a full bank cart, you'd be able to use the deep ones in every drawer. What I need to probably do is figure out a way. It probably would work out about right. That's not really in the frame. Get me a lateral file cabinet and build me which I've got a bunch of these in my fastener drawer over there too. I use them all over the place. I've got all sorts of, like this whole fastener drawer here is full of, like I build out I put drawers. I put them things everywhere. I've got these things in about every drawer I've got those things everywhere. But I need to figure out if I take like a file cabinet, like how I got these set up with the way these slide, and I've got stuff underneath of them, like to have two layers. I could basically build myself a tray to where one of those things fit deep wise the same as this, and another one fit underneath of it, and line a whole drawer with them, and put fasteners and stuff. There's my extras. Chew Work has that 211 XP. I never saw that. Michael said I've never seen the shallow ones either, and that's the ones I need. Yeah, and it's because all those, like what you bought, those bit cases. That's the thing about buying those. That's why I ended up like, unless it's like super dirt cheap, I think I might have bought one set that had those bits in it like that. But you don't get those, in that. So then that's kind of a stinker about buying it that way, because it's like, oh, because if it's ever like, oh, well, it's almost the same price as the Packout, but I'm getting all these bits for free. Again, I don't need bits. So I typically don't buy them unless those things are dirt cheap because of that. Because, well, once it's not really like getting the whole Packout because you're missing the little trays that go with it. How many pounds have you lost now? I think it was 7. I weighed this morning. I think I've lost 17, I think now. So it's 12 last week. So 5 more this week. 17 total. Do you have a journeyman electrical license? I was just curious if you had to have one being a maintenance man or not, since you do all kinds of stuff. I was an apprentice electrician for a little. No, I don't have an electrician's license. So in my area, I can do anything considered maintenance. Is basically if you've already got something, I can fix it, like in whatever it is, or replace it or do whatever. Now, there are some like where I worked at before, I could do whatever I wanted to because I worked for somebody, and if they told me to do something, I just did it. But now that I'm my own business, is a little bit different. Like I'm not supposed to do certain things. Now, certain customers, they know me and know what I do and stuff, and they still ask me to do it anyways. And I just tell them up front, this isn't something I should do or I'm supposed to do. I will do it, but that's up to you, just so you know. And then they're okay with it. So. my area is pretty, I mean, pretty lenient on stuff. The hardest thing for in my area, if you want to do certain things, is the supply houses won't let you buy things a lot of times unless like it's more so HVAC than anything else. Like if you don't have an HVAC license, it's pretty hard for you to do quite a bit of work because that you can't even go buy a capacitor like at the store. So you'd have to have you got to order them on Amazon or do something like that. Which I've got a place that sells it to me. Like I can go buy stuff at a couple of the places just because they know me because I kept going there for years. Uh, but there's most of them in my town won't let you buy anything unless you've got a HVAC license. Deborah was cast to the outer darkness. He installed all the lights in the new section of the garage this week. Yeah, I did. That was one of the L's. I guess I said lights, and then TPG mentioned a light that he got. If you have a limited maintenance electrical license, you can do much more. And I typically don't get into doing anything except for stuff that's like I'm doing service work most of the time anyway. So it's 90% of the time when somebody calls me, they've already got it's already there. It just needs either fixed or replaced. So I'm allowed to do that as a under being maintenance anyways. I'm not paying a customer, so my work comes last. I'm not a paying customer. Well, it's 8:01, so Matt just said it's dinner time. That's right. So I guess I'll get off here. Guess the trade this Saturday is Veto TPLD. He's also got a lot of Packout in the back of his truck, but you may or may not see some of that. You'll have to watch and see. And then other than that, I've got a bunch of stuff coming. I don't have anything else. I mean, I've got stuff around here that I could make videos for. That's stuff that people might would be interested in. But there's a lot of stuff I buy that I don't even make videos for just because it's not something I feel like has enough oomph on it to make people want to watch anything. So we're all the same. My wife says the same thing. My house comes last. Yeah, we're like my house is like the mechanic's car. It's the last thing that gets worked on because when you come home at the end of the day, the last thing you want to do is the same thing you did all day at your own house. So, but I'm going to get off here. We'll see y'all on Saturday in the chat if you're there. And then if not, we'll see you on the next one. You have to tip the maitre d'. We'll see y'all.